Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is pancreas and bile duct MRI. Today's learning objectives will be describe the use of techniques, method to improve the image quality, and describe the preferred image sequence for MRI and MRCP of pancreas and bile ducts to propose protocols in different clinical settings. So background is MRI of the pancreas and of the bile ducts to evaluate the ducts and their environment, that is solid organs, vessels, and fatty tissues, and assess the morphology and function. These are the use of MRI while doing pancreas and bile duct study. What sequences that we have to do is, and what are the strategies? So speed, spatial resolution, and contrast. These are all the things which we should strategize to decrease the artifacts, to increase the comfort, and to increase the flexibility. Tools that is required is parallel imaging techniques, phased array coils, that is 3T, and contrast. New sequences required contrast agents. Parallel imaging multi-channel coils are used. In that we do T2 weighted imaging. ETL, less blurring is there, better matrix, better signal homogeneity, and larger field of view. These are the images demonstrating the axial T2 weighted images. And these are the coronal T2 weighted imaging showing the common bile duct, the gallbladder, and the biliary tree. This is the heavily T2 weighted MRCP image demonstrating the pancreatic duct, the common bile duct, the gallbladder, and the biliary tree. So this is 3D GRE plus fat saturated imaging. This is it 150 slice 20-second sequence. This is MPR image of that in which there is fat suppression. This is the source that we take. This is MIP axial, MPR, and MIP coronal that we do. All these sequences, they come under 3D T1 weighted fat saturation. Parallel imaging, we also do diffusion weighted imaging in case of pancreas and bile duct, which is acceptable resolution, voxel size of 2 into 3 into 5 mm cube, and then penalty in patient throughout. Increased sensitivity is seen. So these are the axial images of, this is the axial image of diffusion weighted imaging in B1000 value. This is T2 weighted imaging, and this is fusion, both diffusion weighted imaging and T2 weighted imaging. This is the fusion image that is created. Bile duct imaging is done at 3 Tesla, in which the IHBD is more than the PSC. This is 2D deconstruction, and this is 3D reconstruction of the bile duct imaging. Pancreatic duct imaging is these are the images which are showing pancreatic duct imaging at 3 Tesla. So what are the imaging strategies that is used in T2 weighted imaging? T2 weighted TSE FSE sequences where we have single shot or one RF excitation pulse followed by a very long echo train over which all the phase encoding steps are required. Single thick slab, ETL more than 200, TE 800 to 1000 microseconds, fat saturation of 20 to 50 mm. This is a projective MRCP and arbitrary angulations. Multi-slice acquisition, RT or navigator echo, if we have thinner slices, 3 to 5 mm, 512 matrix, axial and coronal, when flexible, applicable in less cooperative patients, parenchyma and duct. These are all the images showing single shot TAC T2 weighted MRCP. These are thick slabs, radial projections, and these are the multi-slices. Then we come to multi-slice TAC T2 weighted fat suppression. This is not in routine to preserve anatomic delineation. When it is done in inflammatory conditions involving fatty tissue, suspicion of focal diffuse disease in a parenchyma, increased contrast between fluid in the duct and a lesion. Options that we have is increased TE and diffusion weighted imaging in these. These are the axial section images of multi-slice TAC T2 weighted imaging, fat suppressed images showing pancreatitis that we can appreciate. These are the arrowhead showing pancreatitis. These are the coronal weighted imaging showing intrapapillary mucinous neoplasm. This is the normal axial section, and these are the cases which is showing autoimmune pancreatitis. We also have option of increasing the TE and this is the case in which there is 40 ms of DE, and this is 250 ms of DE. We can see how the resolution has been increased. We also have options of diffusion weighted imaging in T2 weighted, heavily T2 weighted, and fat saturated T2 weighted imaging. This is diffusion weighted imaging, and this is fusion. We take T2 weighted axial section and diffusion weighted axial section, we merge them both, and what we get is fusion imaging. Now we'll talk about the ducts. In that we do 2D thick slab MRCP. Time taken is less than 3 seconds. It's good in plane resolution. We can do dynamic studies. ERCP like images can be obtained. No post processing. Pitfall is there are certain pitfalls, and then we have medical interaction in this. We can do it. 2D MRCP dynamic studies. There is acquisition of serial MRC images to evaluate the sphincteric segment of the pancreaticobiliary junction. There was a study by Kim J.H. et al. 2002, wherein then he showed percentage showing relaxation and NB images in periampullary lesions. Two lesions were seen, and 13% showing relaxation. Supraampullary lesions and biliary obstruction, 17% and 100% of them showing relaxation. In biliary dilatation, there is no obstruction, 17% and 100% showing relaxation, 17 cases. So MRC versus endoscopic ultrasound in cholelithiasis, accuracy of repetitive thick slab. 94.7% was accuracy noted in MRC versus 96.5% accuracy noted in endoscopic ultrasonography. These are the MRCP images showing distal CBD calculus that we can appreciate. These are the 3D reformatted 2D thick slab MRC dynamic studies or hormonal stimulation with secretin is given, wherein we can see the pancreatic duct. We can now appreciate this is a CBD, this is ampulla vater, this is a duodenum, and we can really appreciate the opening there in the ampulla vater. Now there are some tricks that we should know, that it may need choral contrast. Pancreatic studies usually needs oral contrast. Then different projection in a dynamic study. You don't have to forget the axial views. 2D MRCP is use of negative oral contrast. This is the case of chronic pancreatitis, where we can use a negative oral contrast. Use of different projections in the same dynamic study. This is angulated one, wherein we can appreciate the merge or the confluence of the right and the left hepatic ducts, and we can appreciate a filling defect over here. Then these are the axial views demonstrating. These are the views demonstrating the Klatskin's tumors. Klatskin's tumors are perihilar tumors of bile duct that we can appreciate. This is a case of pancreatitism and chronic pancreatitis. Ducts can also be viewed by 3D techniques. SSFP, that is BTFE, TFISP, breath hold sequences can be obtained. TAC, FSE, RT, navigator echo, and breath hold sequences can be obtained. As compared with 2D, this 3D techniques have got higher relative signal intensity and contrast, better delineation of biliary anatomy, no statistical difference in accuracy, multiplanar and post-processing capabilities can be seen. These are the examples of 2D TAC and 3D BTFE sequences. This is multi-slice 3 mm coronal section that we can appreciate. This is thick slice 30 to 50 millimeter 2-second sequence 2D TAC. This is 3D BTFE. Source is 1 mm and 2 20-second breath hold sequences obtained in this case. This is maximal intensity projection image demonstrating the biliary tree. Now we can also have 3D MRCP BTFE sequences, wherein we have source data of 20 seconds breath hold sequences that we have. These are the coronal images of that. And this is maximum intensity projection images that we can appreciate. These are all 3D MRCP sequences. 2D T2 weighted MRCP images can also be obtained. 2D weighted 3D TAC T2 weighted MRCP images are also obtained, wherein we see the intrahepatic biliary ducts or dilated rod. We can see the lesions. These are all the dilated IHBR. This is a Klatskin's tumor that we can appreciate at the peri or near the confluence of the bile duct. These are the 3D sequences that we have. 2D versus 3D TSE T2 weighted MRCP images, wherein we have examples of intra-IPMN, intrapancreatic mucinous neoplasm. This is the source image. This is the 2D reconstruction, and this is the maximum intensity projection, wherein we see a filling defect in the head of the pancreas. Ducts, practical setup. 2D first setup is used in dynamic views, medical interaction. 3D, there is optional. It is 3D is always optional, wherein we have reproducibility, complex anatomy, cosmetic delivery of the information is seen. This is the case demonstrating a stone or choledocholithiasis, or a stone which is lodged in the distal aspect of the bile duct. This is a 3D, which is always optional for us, wherein we can appreciate a stone which is getting dislodged at the distal aspect of the common bile duct. Now, imaging strategies, we can also have T1 weighted imaging, where 3D is preferred more than 2D. GRE volumetric acquisition, higher resolution, we have post-processing capabilities where we can do MPR and MIP. Pancreas, we can also opt for fat suppression imaging, and we can also do dynamic studies along gadolinium contrast studies. Then we have contrast enhanced cholangiography that also can be done. So imaging strategies in T1 weighted imaging without gadolinium, it is used in focal lesions in normal pancreas, in pancreatitis, whether it is acute or chronic, and peripancreatic hemorrhage. These are the images that we have. These are the axial section showing the pancreatitis, or this is again the axial section showing the enlarged pancreas and enlarged pancreatic duct or dilated pancreatic duct that we have. This is a case of acute pancreatitis. And this is a case of peripancreatic hemorrhage that we can actually. So these all are the things these all are the conditions wherein we can study without gadolinium. These are the images, axial images showing focal lesion in the normal pancreas. Focal lesion in the normal pancreas. In this, we can appreciate pancreatitis. This is the acute pancreatitis, and this is the chronic pancreatitis. These are the peripancreatic hemorrhages that can be seen. Contrast enhanced techniques, we have 3D GRE T1 weighted sequence in which we take two options, A and B. In A, the TR is 4.1. In B, the TR is 4.6. We are talking about contrast enhanced technique in 3D GRE T1 weighted sequences. So TE will be 1.9 in A and 1.3 in B. Fat saturation is seen in A and not seen in B. Voxel is 1.4 into 1.4 into 1.5 in A and 0.8 into 0.8 into 1.3 in B. Flip angle is 10 degrees in A and 35 degrees in B. Orientation is axial, coronal in A and always coronal in B. NB or slices is 120 in A and 100 in B. Parallel imaging is seen, yes, in A and B both. Acquisition time is 18 seconds in A and 18 seconds in B. When should it be performed? These are A is used in parenchymal cases and B is used in MRA or FMRC. So again, we are continuing with imaging strategies. So what are the practical setup that we should know? 3D needs good patient cooperation. Careful explanation of the procedure has to be done. Hyperventilation and BH test should be done. Number of slices should be 70 to 150. Fluoroscopic triggering of contrast bolus and dynamic gadolinium enhanced 3 data sets. Sections will always be 3 to 1.5 of sections we can take. Original data, we have to always do it in axial, then coronal. So we prefer axial. And in coronal, we can always have this sense and field of view. MPR and targeted MIP can also be preferred, are also preferred. This is the bolus T that we have given. This is the source image. these are the source image that we have, contrast enhanced. We can see the aorta getting enhanced, and these are the cortex or renal cortex getting enhanced. This is the early arterial phase that we have. This is the MPR rendered imaging, and these are the MIP, maximum intensity projection, wherein we can appreciate the intrahepatic bile ducts, common bile duct. This is the pancreatic duct. This is the confluence. So this is how we use the gadolinium enhancement in cases of suspected parenchymal lesions. So arterial anatomy display is less reproducible than the venous anatomy. So venous anatomy is more reproducible. Arterial anatomy is less reproducible. Appropriate timing is very hard to define. Centra and keyhole technique is used as in this case. So we can very well appreciate how the IVC is seen and how the bile ducts and biliary drainage is appreciated. Then we also have 4D Thrive sequence as time resolved Thrive, where there is arrival of the contrast injection, fat dynamic scanning. Then we first there is arrival of contrast injection, then there is fast dynamic scanning is done, then there is reconstruction. This is the time resolved Thrive sequence or 4D Thrive. So these are the images that demonstrates time resolved Thrive sequences, where we take every 3 seconds we take image. The slices that we use is 120 slices, and in every 3 seconds we have to take volume. So voxel which is used in this is 2 into 2 into 3.6 mm cube. So this, as we progress after three images, we can appreciate how well the kidneys are taking the contrast, how well the pancreas are taking contrast. This is the splenic artery that is arising from the celiac axis. This is the hepatic. So we can appreciate how well the arterial this thing of pancreas. So this is the case wherein we can see T2 weighted imaging, wherein we can see a cyst at the pancreatic tail, as this is a fat suppressed case where we can see the pseudopancreatic cyst that we can appreciate in this. This is a diffusion weighted imaging or fusion of the imaging that we see of T2 weighted and diffusion weighted imaging. So where are these things used? These are used in case of detection and staging of tumors, assessment of complications of pancreatitis, and functional biliary imaging. Detection and staging of tumors, we can very well do the coronal MPR imaging, and these are the images wherein we see the pancreatic duct or the intrapancreatic neoplasm, where there is abrupt or filling void seen in the pancreas. This is the pancreatic duct. This is the common bile duct. This is the duodenum, second part duodenum. This is the ampulla pater. So we see a filling defect over here. In this case, after giving contrast enhancement, we can very well see how the liver is enhancing, how the kidneys are enhancing, how the pancreas has picked up the gadolinium, and we can very well see a filling defect, which is demonstrating the tumor, pancreatic tumor. This is the coronal section of MRCP, showing abnormally dilated common bile duct and intrahepatic biliary radical dilatation. We see a filling defect. We are not able to appreciate the confluence of the main pancreatic duct and the common bile duct. There is a tumor which is lying at the head of the pancreas, which is causing obstruction to the common bile duct and main pancreatic duct flow. So while on doing contrast enhanced coronal weighted imaging, we can very well appreciate how there is a tumor which is causing obstruction to the common bile duct and at the ampulla pater. So 3D T1 weighted imaging plus gadolinium alone are used or utilized in pancreatic cancer. Sensitivity is 86% and specificity is 89% in cases of these. Detection and staging of tumor. This is B and this is A. We can very well see the main pancreatic duct, and this is the common bile duct, and there is abrupt narrowing of the common bile duct or at the junction of the ampulopator. So this is the coronal fat sat trophy sequence. This is again an abrupt tapering of the at the distal common bile duct. Evaluation of pancreatitis, we can also use these sequences. This is the arterial phase. This is the arterial phase that we have. This is the venous phase that we have. This is the MPR, coronal MPR sequence that we have. And this is the maximum intensity projection view that is seen in cases of pancreatic or pancreatitis that we can appreciate. Evaluation of pancreatitis, we have to always look for thrombosis or superior vena cava occlusion. In case of pancreatitis, there is portal vein thrombosis and superior vena cava occlusion. So we always have to look for this thing. So these are all the coronal imaging demonstrating the fluid that is there, peripancreatic fluid and abrupt tapering of the CBD and pancreatic duct. This is also having peripancreatic cyst, peripancreatic or pancreatic cyst that we have. Now, how to differentiate between cystic lesion with pancreatitis? So this is the pseudopancreatic cyst. This is a spleen. This is pseudopancreatic cyst. This is a pancreas that we have. This is a cystic lesion with this is heavily T2 weighted image showing nodule there. This is the coronal weighted imaging demonstrating the arterial flow. So functional biliary imaging, FMCR, is where there is contrast agent with biliary excretion. So MN DPDP or telascan is used, approximately 50%, 15 to 30 MN vascular is given. Gadolinium BOPTA is multi-enhance, 5% is used, 60 to 90 MN and vascular is seen. GD EOB DTPA, Primovist, the name of the drug, 50% is used, 15 to 30 MN and vascularity is there. So MN DP is given in slow infusion, 2 ml per minute, 0.5 milliliters per kg bolus we have to give. MN DPDP. In gadolinium EOB DTPA or Primovist, we give infusion is 2.5 milliliters per second, 0.025 mmol per kg bolus we have to give. Contrast enhanced FMRC clinical applications that should be there is biliary anatomy, where we are using it in living liver donors, bile duct leaks, biliary enteric anastomosis, and biliary complications of OLT. So these are all the areas, all the clinical applications where we use contrast enhanced FMRC. So why dysfunction? Biliary anatomy. These are all the biliary anatomy. That is a case in 57-year-old female with abdominal pain since 1983, abnormal LFT since 1983. Liver biopsy was inconclusive. Suspicion of primary sclerosing cholangitis was seen. These are the images, coronal images, T2 MRC, FMRC source, and FMRC MIP sequences demonstrating primary sclerosing cholangitis. Now we also have bile duct leak cases. So in that case also we use MRCP and MRC, wherein we can really appreciate how there is bile leak. This is the duodenum, second part of duodenum. This is the gallbladder. This is the common bile duct, pancreatic duct, and see how the bile is getting leaked post procedure. This is FMRC image demonstrating the bile leak. Biliary enteric anastomosis can also be appreciated. This is coronal weighted T2 MRC image, and this is the coronal T2 weighted, heavily T2 weighted imaging, demonstrating how there is biliary enteric anastomosis is done. This is the biliary enteric anastomosis. This is contrast enhanced MRC image, where we can see abrupt narrowing of the common bile duct that we can appreciate. Contrast enhanced FMRC SO dysfunction. So T2-MRC is used, and FMRC, contrast enhanced T1 weighted, is also used. There is no excretion after 1 hour. FMRCP along with secretin can also be given along with that. So this is the baseline study. This is T3 and T8. So IV administration of 1 ml per 10 kilogram bolus is given, secretin. And then we have to repeat thick slab acquisition after every 30 seconds or per 10 minute. For 10 minutes. Every 30 seconds we have to repeat thick slab acquisition for 10 minutes. So when do we have suspicion of pancreatic disease? So we have to rule out a mechanical factor like sphincteric dysfunction, pancreatic divisum, or any strictures, be it benign or malignant. Detect hallmarks of chronic pancreatitis at an early stage. Diagnosis of pancreatic duct leak. So minor papilla dysfunction can also occur. This is a baseline study that we have. This is acquired at 3 minutes. This is acquired at 10 minutes. We can very well appreciate how there is minor papilla dysfunction. Minor papilla, instead of going and draining separately above the ampulla vater, it is merging with the ventral duct. This is how the abnormally the pancreatic duct is getting drained in the duodenum. So MRCP and versus SOM. Normal, abnormal, and total. So normal 11, abnormally 17. To total, it came out to be 28. In SMRCP, abnormal would be 12, 2 in normal case and 10 in abnormal case, total 12. Total 40 cases, 27 SOM came out to be normal and 13 was normal. So it is insensitive in predicting abnormal monometry in type 3 SOD, and it is useful in selecting out patients with suspected SOD too. So this is the baseline study that we see, and after giving secretin, there is a stricture that is filled after secretin as benign. So we can very well appreciate the stricture of the main pancreatic duct after giving secretin. Secretin will cause excessive pancreatic juice formation, formation, and that will demonstrate very well the stricture that was there in the pancreatic duct. So in case of chronic pancreatitis, baseline study is performed and SMRCP is performed. In 1 and 2, the FN was 4, FP was 2, TN was 10, and TP was 32. In the OBS2, the FN was 2, FP was 5, TN was 7, and TP was 34. So the accuracy was 88% and 85% respectively. So quantification of fluid production. Single shot multi-slice dynamic acquisition, 6 to 8 into 15 mm coronal slices, larger FOV. Known volume of water is fixed increments. We have 6 into 20 ml. Pixel with 100% of water as referred value, and instantaneous fluid volume for each dynamic is performed. This is the quantification of fluid production, but 20 ml of fluid given and 40 ml of fluid given, 60 ml of fluid, 80 ml of fluid, 100 ml of fluid, and 120 ml of fluid. So in case of results in chronic pancreatitis, the normal was 7.4 plus minus 2.9, and in severe chronic pancreatitis, it came out to be 5.2 plus minus 2.4. So these are the quantitative secretin, MRCP, MRCPQ, and it results in 215 patients with known or suspected pancreatic pathology. So diagnosis of MPT disruption and assessment of pancreatic leak with SMRCP, 17P, 12 out of 17 contributed to successful management, and 10 out of 12 additional information was provided. This is the MPT disruption that we can appreciate in this. Diagnosis of pancreatic leak with secretin. This is where we have absence of secretin, and this is when we give secretin. There is pancreatic leak that we can appreciate. This is again without secretin and with secretin, we can appreciate the leak. So diffusion weighted imaging can be used in routine SE EPI with high B values. Quantification is available, that is ADC we do, increases the sensitivity of conventional techniques, and it is used to detect end stage tumor and to detect pancreatitis, which is autoimmune pancreatitis. Then differential diagnosis of mass forming pancreatitis. Results of ADC calculations was done, wherein the normal versus AP, a significant difference. Test ANOVA between PA minus PC minus NEO, no significant differences was found out. And the number were 92, benign versus malignant pancreatic lesions. Set 1 had conventional and GD called gadolinium MRI. Set 2 diffusion weighted imaging alone. Set 3 both. So the accuracy was set 1 had 92% accuracy. Set 2 had 85% and set 3 had 90% accuracy. So after giving secretin, we can very well appreciate the absent flow or the stricture that we can see. This is because of the pancreatic cancer engulfing the pancreatic main duct. After seeing diffusion restriction, we can appreciate, and this is a fusion image that we have. This is the case of intrapapillary mucinous neoplasm. This area that we have in the coronal image. These are the fusion images that we have. Cholangiocarcinoma or Klatskin's tumors. There is the perihilar cholangiocarcinoma in infiltrative type. This is the diffusion weighted, T2 weighted. This is the fusion that we can have. Then 45-year-old obstructive jaundice for 3 months. ERCP was done with suspicion of pancreatic cancer and stenting was seen. This patient again had a tumor at the distal end. These are the diffusion weighted imaging. These are the T2 weighted imaging and gadolinium enhanced axial sections demonstrating a tumor which is taking up the contrast enhancement. So before and 15 days after steroids, we can very well see the normal flow of decrease in the that area. The practical setup: multi-slice axial single shot 2D TAC T2 weighted image with RT navigator 5 mm thick, TE 80 ms, 250 ms fat suppression, liver, bile duct, and pancreas. Multi-slice coronal single shot 2D TAC, RT navigator 3 mm thick, TE 80 ms, bile duct and pancreas. Projective MRCP, where we have 30 to 50 mm, T is 1000 ms. Radial, axial, and coronal is used. 3D MRCP is optional, and detailed biliary anatomy is there. And in case of respiratory cycle. In practical setup 2, diffusion weighted imaging was done. RT high B value, same geometry than T2 weighted. Before gadolinium is administered, may substitute fat suppressed techniques, and malignant lesion is suspected. Contrast enhanced MRCP, BH3D GRE fat suppressed technique, malignant obstruction, functional biliary imaging. Thank you.